Good morning students, welcome to my video lecture on manufacturing of ceramic matrix composites. Today we are going to look at chemical vapor infiltration of ceramic matrix composites. This is a part of the course Fabrication and Processing of Advanced Composites ME 61011. I am Nilanjan Das Chakladar, Assistant Professor of Mechanical Engineering Department, IIT Kharagpur. So as I already mentioned, today we will look into the CVI technique. In the CVI method, the reactant gases diffuses into an isothermal porous preform made of long continuous fibers and form a deposition. So we have already studied CVD. Now if the CVD occurs, the chemical vapor deposition occurs after infiltration, then it is called as chemical vapor infiltration. Deposited material is a result of chemical reaction occurring on the fiber surface. Okay, the infiltration of the gaseous precursor, that is the vapor, into the reinforcing ceramic continuous fiber structure or preform is driven either by diffusion or by an imposed external pressure. The deposition fills the space between the fibers, that is the gaps, forming composite material in which matrix is the deposited material, and the dispersed phase is the fibers of the preform. CVI is similar to chemical vapor deposition, in which deposition occurs when the reactant gases react on the outer substrate surface. Okay. So example, CVI is widely used in fabrication of silicon carbide matrix composites reinforced by silicon carbide long fibers. The vapor reagent is supplied to the preform in a stream of a carrier gas, which could be hydrogen, argon or helium. Silicon carbide matrix is formed from a mixture of methyl trichlorosilane MTS, methyl trichlorosilane MTS as the precursor, and hydrogen as the carrier gas. MTS is decomposed according to the reaction below. CH3Cl3Si is silicon carbide deposits, and 3HCl hydrogen chloride comes out as a vapor. The gaseous HCl is removed from the preform by the diffusion or forced out by the carrier steam. Now can you tell me what happens if HCl is not fully removed? Think about it and we'll discuss later. Now example 2, carbon matrix is formed from a methane precursor. The matrix densification stops when the preform surface pores are closed. The final residual porosity of the ceramic matrix fabricated by CVI method reaches up to 10 to 15%. That means the presence of pores, or the amount of pore, the quantity of pores after the composite is fabricated, is up to 15%. So what are the different types of CVI? The isothermal or isobaric CVI, okay, which is also called as ICVI. Then the temperature gradient CVI. Then isothermal forced flow CVI, which is IFCVI. Thermal gradient forced flow, that is FCVI. And finally pulsed CVI or PCVI. Okay. Now isothermal or isobaric CVI. The fiber preform infiltrated in the ICVI process has no temperature gradient. That means it is kept at a uniform temperature, as the name is isothermal. The reactant gas is supplied to the preform at a uniform pressure. That means no pressure gradient. Also isobaric. The ICVI process is very slow because of the low diffusion rate. Low diffusion rate at a constant pressure and a constant temperature. Number 2 is the temperature gradient CVI. The preform is kept at a temperature gradient. The vapor precursor diffuses through the preform from the cooler surface to the hotter inside regions. The temperature gradient enhances the diffusion. That means higher the temperature gradient, quicker will be the diffusion. The precursor decomposes mostly in the hot inner region, since the rate of chemical reaction is greater at higher temperature. Just what we mentioned. That means the chemical kinetics, the rate of chemical kinetics increases with temperature. TGCVI method allows better densification of the ceramic matrix due to prevention of early closure of surface pores. Okay, so the densification is better in case of TGCVI. What happens in case of isothermal forced flow? Utilizes the forced flow or pressure gradient of the gas precursor penetrating the uniformly heated preform. It is isothermal, but the flow is forced. That means there is a pressure gradient at constant temperature. The rate of ceramic matrix deposition in the IFCVI method is increased by the enhanced infiltration of the forced reactant gas. Then the thermal gradient forced flow or the FCVI method combines the effect of both temperature gradient as well as forced flow or pressure gradient, enhancing the infiltration of the vapor pressure. So if we look into this diagram, so this is the vapor where the reactant gas is entering. This is the water cooling portion. This is the cold bottom and the hot outside. This is the exhaust gas, and these are the induction heating coils. Okay, so that means there is a pressure gradient and there is a temperature gradient. So if you assume this as the axis X, so along this there is a temperature gradient. Why? Because as it is moving from bottom to top, from cold to hot region, there is a temperature gradient, and it is a forced flow, which means there is a pressure gradient determined by the inlet and outlet pressure. So this is a FCVI method. FCVI method. Now pulsed flow CVI or PCVI. In PCVI, the surrounding precursor gas pressure changes rapidly. The pressure changes in each cycle and repeated many times. A cycle of the pressure change consists of the evacuation of the reactor vessel followed by its filling with the reactant gas, reaction gas or reactant gas. Okay, now this is pressure is changing within a cycle. That means not only del P del X, but there is a change in with time, del P del X over del T. That is the pulsed flow CVI. Now what is the steps of CVI? Fabrication of the fiber preform we have already studied in polymer infiltration and pyrolysis process. Application of the debonding interface, a thin layer of pyrolytic carbon or hexagonal HBN is deposited on the fiber surface by CVI method. Infiltration of the preform with a pre-ceramic gaseous precursor. The preform is heated and placed into a reactor with a gaseous precursor. The preform is infiltrated with the gas, which decomposes and forms a ceramic matrix deposit on the fiber surface. The process continues until the porosity is completely reduced or closed. So it's a repetitive process. Abrading or machining of the preformed surface in order to open paths of percolating network which allow further densification. That means if you machine or grind the surface, new pores will come up. Those pores were originally vacant, so you need to deposit the matrix again onto those pores and you repeat the process so that the densification will increase. Steps of CVI, the other steps: multiple re-infiltration and abrading cycles. Earlier we had multiple infiltration and pyrolysis cycles. Here we are having multiple re-infiltration and abrading cycles until maximum densification of the matrix. Protective surface coating, the open porosity is sealed in order to prevent a penetration of the environmental gases into the composite during the service. There could be additional layer to protect from oxidation, and the coatings are also deposited. Those coatings are also deposited by CVI technique. Now coming to advantages and disadvantages of CVI. So obviously low fiber damage due to low infiltration temperature. Matrices of high purity can be fabricated. Low infiltration temperature produces low residual stress, enhanced strength, elongation and toughness, good thermal and shock resistance, increased creep and oxidation resistance. So always remember, when a process is controlled by temperature and pressure, we get better and better microstructure of the final material. Matrices of varied composition can be found like silicon carbide, carbon, silicon nitride, boron nitride, boron carbide, zirconium carbide. Interfaces may be deposited in situ. However, the process is slow, may take several weeks. Residual porosity may be high, 15 if not correctly optimized, the number of reinfiltration and abrading cycles, and high capital or production costs. Thank you. Hope you have enjoyed this video.